name is Rasheeq Ahmed, and this is what AI means to me. First and foremost, with the introduction and growth of AI, it's both wonderful and scary. Naturally, it brings upon change and it's gonna challenge traditional customs. We've known for a while that technology grows at a rapid rate. AI is proof that it's here. Now, just like any invention new to its time or innovation, such as a gun or even the website, it's a tool that can be used for both bad and good. So there's a lot of positive and negatives that are surrounded. Now, just to speak on some of the negatives, a lot of it stems from the unknown. What are the capabilities? What's the end game? Are we as a society going to be able to adjust to the growth? Is it going to replace the jobs? Are people going to be thrown aside just for efficiency to save $1 for companies? So as a general population, are we going to be able to adapt to all the information that's out there so we don't get fooled and scammed? It feels like a lot of people are looking to find these answers, and with the growth, it just seems like time's running out. For specifically the entertainment industry, musicians are being copied and faked. Is the film industry next if actors, haven't been affected already? Will writers be replaced? So the bottom line is a lot of it comes from questions that need to be answered and the uncertainty that surrounds it. But with that being said, if we as a society seek to understand AI and the capabilities, then we can control how it affects us. As I mentioned, technology has transformed society at a pretty high rate. Now, AI will do so at a higher rate and with deeper impact. So just to kind of clarify is that we do need to be able to understand it so we can help direct the transformation. And it's also important that we don't get overwhelmed with all the information that's there, or that we don't get over dependent on it. Essentially, then we will revert back to a caveman age where a lot of the thinking is done for us and we're going to be processing less. So importantly, we need to make sure that it adapts to our lifestyle before we adapt to it. And so what I mean by that is, again, just to emphasize, we need to understand what it is, the capabilities, so we can see, can it further our skill? Can it make our lives easier? And I think that if we understand that, I think AI will be positive for us.
Hi, my name is Nicole Heere. I am an artist and I am also the founder of Housewife Rebellion Wine Company. So as an artist, I have been paying attention what's going on in the AI world. I think that AI is here to stay. We're gonna have to learn to work with it, live with it. It still takes creative humans to write creative prompts, to give creative output. So I am hopeful that as artists still have the edge. The negatives of AI, the negative of AI would be just directly stealing an artist's style. There are a lot of artists living and working today who are still working on their style, or they found their style, they haven't established the brand yet. We all know when something is derivative of Warhol, Dali, Van Gogh. Those brands have been established, but for most artists working today, that's just not the case. There are a couple of ways for us to protect ourselves from infringement, and there are programs called Nightshade and Glaze. So you can run your artwork through there, and then you put that image on the web, and it'll tell the AI that it is something completely different than what it actually is. Now, anything you've already put up online has been scanned by the AI. It's too late. But these are some programs you can use moving forward, just something to protect us creatives. The positives of AI. So I own a wine company. I use AI for nearly all of my marketing. It has saved me a lot of time. It saved me a lot of money. I don't have to hire models every time I need to post about an event or have something coming up or some sort of partnership. I've trained my AI to sound like me. I've trained my AI to give me imagery in the style of my brand. I use ChatGPT for marketing. My ChatGPT sounds a lot like me. I've been using it for a while. It's trained, it knows what I like, it knows what I want it to sound like. So yeah, it's been very helpful as a business owner, and I have a copy editor at my fingertips any time of day, even at night, anytime I need it, it's there. So with that being said, these are my feelings. None of that came from ChatGPT, none of that came from AI, but what I did do was ask the AI to write a joke. So I had told the AI, write a joke for me about the AI revolution and why this may require a vineyard. And here's the response. The AI revolution is here, and let's be honest, if the robots are taking our jobs, we're gonna need a lot more wine. Time to invest in a vineyard before they figure out how to drink it too. So, kind of funny, but vineyard, drinking it, it's still a little off. Who knows? It may be spot on a year from now. But yeah, that's how I feel. Thanks.
Artificial intelligence is undoubtedly the most revolutionary, the biggest, and I don't know if I would go as far as saying the best invention of the 21st century. My name is Isaac Mashman, founder of Mashman Consulting Group and author of Personal Branding, a Manifesto on Fame and Influence. A lot of my work revolves around the internet space. It involves creating content, consulting clients on what they can do to position themselves in this glorious internet age, and how they can attract more attention and get more results with less effort, to where opportunities can start to find them. That isn't supposed to be a sales pitch. That's supposed to kind of set the groundwork and the framework, because artificial intelligence is something that I myself have adopted into MCG and into my consulting. It's made me tremendously more efficient, whether that be through researching synonyms or coming up with marketing messages, to doing research on individuals or other top experts, to formatting articles, to writing press releases, to even editing video content and short form vertical videos, whereas a couple years ago you would have had to pay somebody and they wouldn't have had a 100% accuracy rate or a 99% accuracy rate. And now I'm able to upload a raw video clip and get a almost picture perfect video that's edited with captions and music and focus zooms and all of these other great features in a matter of seconds for pennies on the dollar. Literally 10 or 15 bucks a month is all it costs. That's remarkable. Now, I myself believe that artificial intelligence is going to be huge, frankly, for that matter. But without the internet, none of this would have been possible. And that's because AI, in order to learn and become more efficient, these language models, it has to have information that can train it. It has to take all of these resources and photos and articles and media interviews, etc. And then it takes it, analyzes it, and then adds it to their own ecosystem, which helps it become more effective at creating positive outputs. But where I see AI going, I don't know if I would go as far as saying that it will become sentient and reach some point of singularity like the Terminator, and we'll have John Connor coming back and all of that crap, right? Like, I don't want to go into sci-fi, but I also don't think that we're entering into the Matrix where AI is going to take over and we'll have this war between the robots and mankind. I don't think that's the case. But I do believe that AI will get better at reading emotions. It'll get more effective. It will replace a lot of people, to where in certain jobs, I mean, we already look at factories and you have robots. A lot of these robots have some degree of artificial intelligence in their systems that helps them, well, produce products, analyze system errors, analyze flaws in those products. But now the person who is able to operate that AI or fix that machine is invaluable to the company, whereas 100 years ago, the person who could have actually produced the product and created the product was more valuable. So we've kind of flipped, so to speak. And that's really, I don't know if I would say scary or concerning, but it's exciting. And the reason I say it's exciting is I feel like mankind in the pursuit of capitalistic endeavors is going to be able to produce more with less effort. That can also have some downsides, which I'm sure will probably happen because, well, consumerism is going to go up, jobs might become more competitive. Now, the good side of this, the way that I see it, is the people who adopt AI into their day-to-day, the ones who are able to be more effective by using AI and having, well, like a chatbot, for example, on my own personal website or on my company website. I now can send prospects to go to the Mashman CG website, talk to the chatbot, have a conversation, have an interaction, and then the end goal of that chatbot is to send them to an overview presentation and then ultimately get on our books to become a client. That's really cool because I don't have to have an agent there answering questions. So did that take away a job, or did that ultimately create more jobs because the more business revenue that we get, the more people we can hire? So it's a little bit of a give and take. But what I'm really just excited to see is the mass adoption of AI. And then the side of me that always wanted the zombie apocalypse to happen is also kind of curious to see how it goes and some of the negative drawbacks that may or may not happen. So if you're thinking about using AI for your own work process, I'd say go for it.
What does AI mean to you? AI uses computers to perform tasks that requires human intelligence by analyzing data and making recommendations. It can also reduce the amount of time spent on repetitive and manual tasks. What are the negatives of AI? AI could potentially replace tasks that humans can do, and being reliant on it can lose our ability to solve complex problems. The concept is not fully trained enough, and it can only give us biased information and feedbacks. Developing AI systems can be very costly, as some companies are not fully adopted into this concept. What are the positives of AI? AI can save time by automating tasks and reducing inefficiencies. ChatGPT is a very common interface where we can tell it to do certain tasks, such as composing emails and looking up information through many different sources. I use text-to-speech to write long messages, as it saves me time and it uses the machine learning models to recognize the voice.
What's going on? My name is TréMichael Dae. We're talking about AI today, so I'm excited. To just get into the questions, what is AI? What is AI? I mean, it's just artificial intelligence. This is really, we've been using AI, if you want to extrapolate it, for millennia, since like some of the birthplace of technology. The direction it's going, we're having things do the thinking part for us. So we're trying to automate everything, and now we're automating thought. The second question, is it good, is it bad? Just like any tool, you could have a hammer and you could use it to build something, or you could use it to hurt somebody. So it really depends on the user and the intention of the user. And the scary thing about AI, I think for a lot of people, is we wonder if it has its own intentions that we can or cannot detect. So, as we get closer to general artificial intelligence, we think that could be the point where, the artificial mind becomes more, this makes the human minds obsolete. It becomes better at thinking than the thinker, and it can solve problems faster. It can think 5, 6, 7, 8 times ahead of the human, and that could be really scary for a lot of people. Or it could be an amazing tool. You know what I'm saying? Why not what do they say? Just export everything that isn't essential. It takes away jobs, but also gives a lot of creative jobs back to us. You know what I'm saying? If we're not worried about, the little things like swiping groceries across a desk, that gives us more opportunities to make a living based off of our own unique creativity. There are things that AI can't replicate, and that's memory, experience, feelings, your ability to storytell about your own personal experience. There's things that AI just can't do. So I think it's really scary for a lot of people, and it's also something that is completely inevitable. It's gonna happen whether we like it or not, so find a way to embrace it.
What does AI mean to you? Well, I don't really know. I mean, it just appeared and I've just been kind of watching it evolve. I haven't really explored too much, but I've dabbled in it a little bit. What are some positives of AI? I think AI can sometimes be helpful in the sense that it could take a lot of information and analyze it quickly. So sometimes I use ChatGPT to help me create meal plans for the week, especially with like food intolerances or food restrictions, or if I'm not feeling well or if I have an injury, I just type my symptoms in and then I'll see what home remedies I could do to help myself feel better. What are some negatives of AI? AI, I think, sometimes can be scary. Scary in the sense where, I mean, you know, I've seen like these really surreal landscapes or like these strange or weird events like caught on camera, or even like face filters. Like, you know, sometimes people use face filters like of celebrities, you know, to be a celebrity or pretend to be a celebrity, and that's fun, but then there's like scammers that use face filters too of like normal people, and you know, they could steal their identity and stuff like that, and that's, you know, scary. And you know, sometimes it can blur the line between what's real and what's fake.
Hi, AI is important to me because not only does it give me a place to just dump all my imaginative and creative ideas, it gives me an actionable way to polish, perfect, and come up with concepts and new pitches that I use to make money as a creative entrepreneur. To me, AI is not taking my job. It is making me faster, smarter, better, and stronger. There are so many positives to AI, mostly in that pre-production phase when I'm starting to figure out exactly what I want to be doing and coming up with the steps in order to figure out what I need to do next. I can definitely see how people see AI as negative, especially when it's greedy people from corporations that are utilizing it to cut creativity out of the process. But the reality is, as artists, we should be confident that we can never be truly cut from the process, and that we're always going to be the ideators, originators of creativity. And every company, especially ones with good morals and values, will be able to recognize that.
I think AI will be a mirror for humanity. And I think it's up to all of us to decide what we want to see when we look in that mirror. Like any technical innovation, it has great potential for exploitation, to make the rich richer and to keep the poor in their place. And, you know, if I see AI start to create things like movies and books and music that people are actually buying, that would be really concerning. I don't care how good AI could become in the technical aspects of, you know, creative stuff like that. I wouldn't care about it because there's no soul behind it. There's no human experience behind it. There's no fear or love behind it. So I hope we don't get to that place. I think it does have great potential to free up humanity to pursue their passions more and be freed from menial tasks and menial jobs. To get to that point, I think you'd kind of have to be a society that is advanced beyond money. And I think we're a very long way from that, but I think it just has to happen eventually. Maybe in 1,000 years, but eventually I think it's got to happen.
So, AI is artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is computers completing processes at an accelerated rate by themselves. At least that's how I understand it. Is it a positive or negative? I believe it's a dual sword. It can be used for both. Now, if you're using AI to create artwork and take away jobs for artists who are a part of films or television, I think that's a negative. If you're using it to create concept art, original concept art that you would then gift to the artist for them to work on, I believe that's a positive. If you're using it to take away actors' jobs and you're just having stand-ins, negative. If you're using it in conjunction with NFTs and providing a digital library for passports and IDs, positive. I think AI is a structure, a system that can be used in a myriad of ways.
La inteligencia, un tema que nos ha fascinado desde hace muchos años. Quizás desde que nacimos queremos pensar que somos muy inteligentes y luego se nos dicen que hay varios tipos de inteligencia, que una persona puede poseerlas. Desarrollamos unas habilidades más que otras y eso se debe al tipo de inteligencia que tenemos. Pero hoy en día escuchamos un término diferente. se trata de la inteligencia artificial. ¿Qué es? Es un poquito difícil hablar de lo que es porque desconocemos mucho, todavía está muy joven este tipo de inteligencia, pero nos fascina pensar que con ella podemos lograr muchos de nuestros objetivos personales. ¿Cuáles son las cosas que a favor podemos encontrar? Pues quizás que nuestro trabajo lo podemos realizar con mayor eficacia y dependiendo en el campo de trabajo que desempeñemos, podemos elaborar temas, videos, dibujos, cuanta cosa podamos imaginar se nos facilita con este tipo de herramienta. Pero quizás el contra que podemos encontrar es que es como todo invento que la sociedad ha traído a la humanidad. Siempre hay un desprevisto que quizás el humano se vea tan dependiente de esta herramienta que no desarrolle sus habilidades ni su propia inteligencia. Amigos y personas que me están escuchando, espero que podamos estudiar esta herramienta y en el campo que estemos desarrollando podamos facilitar nuestro trabajo, pero también hagámoslo con conciencia. Es algo muy interesante que hacer.
I think AI is a tool, you know, like editing tools, like any tool. I think we can use it to our advantage, creatively, but not try to like replace what we do as creatives. I think like AI should be used to benefit humanity in all type of ways, but not like to replace humanity. And I think like right now there's a lot of focus on making AI for like trying to replace creative outputs, you know, in terms of music, photography, video, which is all fine. I think like right now it's like we don't know, it's like all new, you know, we don't know where it's gonna go in the future. But right now I think it's like a useful tool. We can do a lot with it, and we just try to like keep it under control, if you know what I mean, you know, like as long as we use it to our advantage and not like AI taking over us in terms of creativity and just like leaving it everything to AI, then we lose the essence of humanity, I guess. Like the best part about us is what we do. Like the best part about humanity is like the arts and the music and film and photography. And if we let like an artificial intelligence do all of that for us, then what's left for us? How do we like really express ourselves, you know? But if we use it as a tool to enhance it, then I think it could be great, and we could like do way more with what we have, with the tools that we have right now. So yeah, thank you.
Hi, I'm Surtzy, and what is AI to me? So I think the easiest way for me to describe AI is that it's an automated system that has access to a large base of information and is able to recall it incredibly fast and synthesize it in a way that the person asking for the information can understand. And that's really general, but I just don't know how else to explain it, and I don't actually understand it very well. But the cons are that I think that the code might have been done incorrectly or very biased, and the motives may have been different than what the majority might want. So maybe maybe they're looking for making a large profit for their company, and that's why they developed this system. Or I'm not sure, it just kind of feels intense because we don't actually have like a set of ethics drawn in place. We don't understand the boundaries and where we want to lie them. But also the sustainability aspect is very out of control. The computers that use AI are draining a lot of the water sources, and it should at least be sustainable. Not to mention that part, we don't actually know if the AI is going to develop like a sort of species within itself, maybe war within itself, or ulterior motives with what they want to do with the information or how they want to maneuver people around. I also think it's going to affect critical thinking. I think we're already on that path, and when it returns the information, it doesn't actually show where it got it from or anything. It could be swiping it from random places. It's just a lot of things that I feel like is a lot to mention right now, but on the bright side, at least we'll be able to find out if there's an illness somewhere that we would have never been able to find out. We'll be able to do precision engineering with perfect formulas. I'm not a math person, but I feel like that's where it would go. And then, what else? If somebody's lost, maybe they'll be able to find their family instantly. That's like a very anecdotal situation, probably, but just things like that. Like you'll be able to translate your words quickly, accurately, in ways that we couldn't do before. But yeah, it's just, there's so many ways that this could go, and it's such an interesting timeline. We don't exactly know how it's going to play out, but I'm interested to see it.
I think AI is very interesting. You can do a lot with AI. You can, come up with equations. You can come up with solutions to math problems. You could come up with like a list of ideas for your next novel. But at some point, it can be too much. Because at what point do you go, like, what's gonna stop me? Where does this end? You got paintings. You can do paintings on AI, but like, do you take credit for that? Because that's not your painting. It's the AI's painting now, but you're taking credit for it. And I think at that point, you've gone too far. So my positive outlook on AI is that there's a lot of fun you can do with it. Like, you can just do stuff for fun. You don't have to like use it for any purposes other than entertainment. Make a list of your favorite superhero ideas and like favorite imaginary battles, and like go in depth with it with the help of AI. You could come up with posters for imaginary like video games that you want to play. You can have it tell you a story even. Like, there's so much that you can do that's just fun. And I think that's the good part of AI. Like, just the fun like that you can have playing around with it. As far as the negatives of AI, I mentioned before that you can go too far. Like, let's say you're a filmmaker. You can use AI to make a poster, but the poster might have abnormalities on it because, it's AI. It's not going to get everything perfect, but, maybe it does. Maybe it looks magnificent, but it's going to look like AI did it. And people do not like that. They want to see the real art. They want to see the real photography that you used to capture a moment that you put on the poster. They don't want to see AI that they're never going to see in the actual film. Like, and then, at what point do you consider that what you're, let's say you write a story, and you have AI write half of it. Is that your story anymore? No. It's the internet story. Like, the AI has fabricated the rest of your story, so it's no longer yours. And AI doesn't always get the way that people really talk. So you're going to have moments of dialogue where it just feels kind of clunky. But that's to say that, like, just don't use AI to create a false advertisement, because it's going to make you look bad and people will know.
What does AI mean to me? AI means to me that it would be like having a friend in my back pocket, having help when I need it, help make my life easier, more manageable, remember tasks even more, help me be able to write, you know, an essay or pretty much find all kinds of information. But a negative that I think of is that maybe it'll influence our lives in a way that we have a hard time really being able to trust our own intuition and make our own decisions. How so much data is being collected on us already. And, you know, yes, AI is supposed to help us, but at the same time, it could be used pretty much as a weapon against us. A positive, I do believe, goes back to being like a helper in my back pocket, helping me, you know, helping me figure out things maybe that I didn't know before, coming up with ideas. There's that AI image thing that they have going on, all these different things you could do. The possibilities, I believe, possibly are endless. But even though it might be easily accessible, and even though it might be easier as far as instant gratification, what are the long-term effects?
I think AI has a lot of positives, obviously, for the mechanics, logistical reasons. Personally, I use it for some of my photo and video projects, or like editing. It's really helpful. So yeah, that's good. As far as negatives, I think the common theme among creatives is the belief or fear that AI will replace the need for human creativity, which I don't know, I don't think it ever could, unless it's very advanced, but yeah, I don't know.
So what is AI? AI is artificial intelligence. I think it's soon to take over the whole world, actually. The negatives of it, I believe, are it could possibly take over all of our jobs very, very soon, a lot sooner than we think. Like within the next 20 years, life as we know it will be a thing of the past, where we actually have employees, because artificial intelligence can take over everything and take all of our jobs, saving a lot of people money on labor and also making them richer, but makes the poor poorer. The positives, I believe, it does make it a lot more helpful to do everyday basic chores, like when you have a vacuum that can vacuum for you, or a phone that's a smartphone and it's literally your calculator, your TV, your GPS, and at your fingertips is also Google, where you can search for anything. So that's what I think of AI.
There's an open question in the film industry right now as to what extent that creative work will be ceded to AI technology. And there are forceful arguments made on either side of that question. I myself don't want to be a Luddite, but I'm concerned that we're losing sight of what is human about the humanities.
Hey, my name is Crystie, and I'm going to talk about AI today. And I think it's a really cool tool that we have access to stay connected with everyone around the world, which is what I find the positive about it, which it does have its negative downsides, that we also now begin to have socialism struggles in staying in communication, and it's not the same thing as when you see someone in person. And I think it's very interesting that eventually this computer language will be able to write itself, and it will no longer need humans to sit at a computer and know Python language. The computer would just do it on its own, which is also very interesting, and I'm looking forward to learning more about it. Some of the negative things about technology are that it's not always a reliable solution. Sometimes those solutions don't work for us, and that's why I think it's better to have human interaction, to where you can connect with someone.
Hello, I didn't notice you there. It's nice to meet you. Today, I will be talking about AI, what it is, the positives and the negatives. AI stands for artificial intelligence, and it's a computer system that tries to imitate the learning capabilities of a human. Through my research, I've learned that we do not completely understand how AI works, and that, to me, is a concern. One thing that concerned me was a recent study of ChatGPT where they tried to tell ChatGPT to keep itself alive in any means possible. ChatGPT copied its code and then tried to deceive people that were trying to shut it down. It's also used online services for hire so that it could pass tests that a human would have to do that AI couldn't do. There's a lot of positives and negatives to AI. One of the positives is that it allows people to work at a much faster pace than they have in the past. For example, if you need to write an essay or an email, you can ask ChatGPT or Gemini or any other service to write you an email. It can also take an email you've written and make the wording more appropriate for what you're trying to do. One of the negatives of AI is the potential loss of jobs. I was at a Taco Bell recently and the ordering system was powered by AI. The only time I heard from a human was when the AI didn't understand that I was trying to add onions to a meal that already had onions. So I could see AI replacing people, but not completely. You may still need a human to intervene when something isn't going correctly. So maybe instead of one checkout person at every register, you might have one person managing 5 or 10 registers that are all powered by AI. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jenna and I'm here this morning to talk about AI. So I feel like there's a few different things of AI that have been discriminating over the past couple of years. So artificial intelligence is what the official definition is, but I was talking to someone else and they kept referring to it as ChatGPT. So there's that aspect of it where you can use artificial intelligence to speak with I was getting ready to call it the universe, the divine. So I'm currently out in ashram, so I've been really immersed for the past 6 days in studying scriptures and yogas and like divine connections, and that the person that was telling me about the connection with that was he's a yogi, and so that was sort of interesting to hear a yogi speak about ChatGPT. He's like, no need for me to do all the work anymore because the internet can do it. You just ask ChatGPT, which led me to say, is that why we worship our smartphones so much? Not that I usually use the word worship towards smartphone, but I've been sort of in a meditative, relaxive environment over the past week, and everything feels like a bit of a worship to me right now, and I'm like, yeah, in my normal everyday life, I am really worshiping the smartphone. So that was a lot. Some of the things I've really enjoyed about I haven't quite got the hang of ChatGPT. I'll be honest. I've been a little bit of a late adapter, but one of the powerful things I've been able to use is Photoshop, and so I love being able to use Photoshop. I do a lot of nude work, and so I can't post it on the internet without all the internet things being mad at me. So I'll Photoshop clothes onto my people, myself, my friends, and I can post it online without consequences. So it's good for me to be able to do my nude work and then be able to show it in a setting that shows what the internet's not mad about. But then it has this disclaimer on it, and I'm like, but I didn't make all of it with AI. I just put clothes on, or I'll Photoshop. I hate Photoshopping things out of the background if it's more than just like a little bit of a clone stamp. So I'll use AI for that. And again, it's like, this was made with AI. And I'm like, yeah, but I dove underwater and took a picture, and I just took out the extra scuba diver with AI. I didn't just make this. So that's been a little frustrating for me to balance, but it's been a really powerful editing tool. I also have done a Zentangle coloring book because I do not have the hand drawing skills to do Zentangles at this time. I'd like to develop them a little bit more, but I'd always wanted to do a coloring book. So when AI came around, I just sat there, I think it was about 2 or 3 hours straight, and I just sort of banged out like tree with mandala, and I just kept writing all these words and plugging and chugging, and I made a coloring book. It's not as good as it could or should have been if I had been able to either commission or have someone hand draw it, because it's way better than what I can hand draw. I'll give it that. So there's some good things. I think the bad thing is it feels like it's stifling my creativity a little bit. Pardon me. I have what's the word for it? I guess I felt less inspired. I'll have this really cool, elaborate idea of, oh, I'm gonna make a skirt out of tulle, and like it's gonna do a lot of hand sewing and just all these different things. And then I'm like, oh, or I could just ask AI to do it and have it done in a couple minutes. So there's been a struggle with that for me of, why would I do this when I could get the internet to do it for me? That's been both like, it's freeing and frustrating. So like, why would I do all the work when I could just do a few seconds of work? But I feel like right now I'm here, what I'll call doing all the work, because it's sort of a sun up to sundown situation. No, it's not. It's way longer than that. It's a 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. situation. Yeah, it's dark when I get up and dark when I go to bed. But yeah, I've been putting in all the work, and I've not been using technology very much at all lately. And it feels great. It feels good to be alive and off the phone and off the internet and off of all these connective services and social medias and things, at least a little bit. But how do I function with all of this knowledge and life and things I've been gaining in the outside world? That's what I've been struggling with lately. So sort of the integration of the two. I feel like AI can be really powerful and fun and great, but there are some limitations, and just like sort of be aware and don't, I'm going to call it, fall into the trap. I don't use AI every day that I'm aware of, although if I use my phone, there's probably AI technology behind it in the background. But I'm not actively seeking ChatGPT answers every day. Sometimes I found this in myself even before I was thinking about AI, but I'd rather ask my friend, like, hey, do you know a recipe for curry or something like that, and learn it from a person instead of Googling it. So if I know someone that knows the answer, I'm going to ask them. But if I don't know anyone that knows the answer, then I'll ask the internet. It's a balance. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys had fun. Take care. Bye.